Hi, I'm Laurie with Nashville Electric Service, and I'm here with Jason and Gretchen, our winners of our Go Green on the Silver Screen video contest. So what inspired you guys to enter the contest, and how did you come up with your creative ideas?
Well, we'd been talking about doing the evaluation for a while, and financially it became difficult because our roof started leaking and we just couldn't afford it. But then Gretchen read about the contest, and as far as coming up with ideas for it, it took us probably about 2 weeks of running through scripts to try to come up with a good idea. We didn't want to do something really boring that was just like, here's our house and here's what's wrong with it, and we need this fix and that fixed. We wanted to do something creative and really engage people, and hopefully we did that.
Well, it was definitely very creative and a fan favorite, so you guys did a great job, and I know you're excited to get the work done. And yeah. Speaking of getting the work done, I've got Eric and Jeff with me from E3 Innovate, who have been kind enough to donate a lot of the work today. What are you guys doing inside to tackle the biggest problems in the home?
Sure. Well, again, E3 Innovate, we're a home performance company, so we take a very comprehensive approach when we're going to figure out what we need to do to this house. And that quite simply means we brought some diagnostic equipment over, help us determine, hey, what's the most cost-effective improvements we should make here. And then we focused on a few areas. Focused on crawl space, and that's where Eric has spent most of his time today. And then I've been, unfortunately, up in the attic for most of the time. So we're also going to do some duct sealing. Again, just really try to focus on what is the most cost-effective improvements. It's going to save the most energy, the most money, at the lowest cost.
All right, well, I'm excited to see the improvements that are being made, so let's just go ahead and get started and head on inside.
We're in the attic here, as you can tell by probably some of the sweat coming off of me. We've been working for a couple hours up here, and our main goal is to insulate this attic. We're going to blow some loose fill cellulose into the attic. But before we do that, we have actually quite a bit of prep work that we have to do, and we've installed a couple products that are going to make this attic perform a little better than maybe just a conventionally insulated attic. One product that we've installed is what's called a radiant barrier, and it's some of the silver product that you can see, and what that helps us do is reflect some of the radiant heat gain from the sun. So you can imagine in the summertime it gets just really hot in this attic, and a lot of that has to do with radiation coming in through our attic. We have asphalt shingles. Most people have asphalt shingles on the roof, so it really just makes for a very hot environment in the attic. A lot of that can transfer into the living space. So products such as the radiant barrier really helps us reflect some of that radiation back. We've put it on the west-facing roof. That's really important. That's where our summer intense afternoon sun is going to be. So we felt that was going to be the most cost-effective manner to put the radiant barrier in, right on the west side of the roof. You see, I've got a foam gun. One of the more important things we have to do in an attic before we're ready to insulate is air seal, and that's just any point where you see some of the electrical wires coming down, servicing a lighting fixture. We actually have to foam that. We use a high expanding foam product to air seal that attic. The more air transfer we have from the conditioned space into the attic, the less effective the insulation is going to be. Again, so it's really important that we prep the attic before we insulate. Our final thing to do before we are ready to insulate, we install some baffles. And they quite simply allow ventilation, or allow outside air, to move in and over the insulation and move out of our ridge vent, or our vent at the very top of the attic. So again, that helps us evacuate some of the hot air. Also keeps the insulation out of some portions of the attic we don't want it to be in. So we're getting very close to having this attic ready to insulate. We're going to put about 12 inches again of blown cellulose. This attic is in pretty rough shape. Been a lot of air sealing to do. Also, there's a lot of portions where there is not any insulation whatsoever. So we're going to see a big effect, big difference once we get some insulation in this attic.
So currently we're addressing the bottom side of the envelope of the house, and we're providing a sealed crawl space system. What we're trying to do in this case is redefine the envelope of the house. Most homes, obviously, in Middle Tennessee have ductwork in the crawl space. And unfortunately, on average, duct systems, as best that they can be installed, still have significant leakage. Our average, when we go in and test homes, is above 20%. So in this case, what we're doing is we're, of course, first removing all the debris. We're ensuring that the space is safe, that there's not any combustion appliances that aren't properly vented and the like. And then we're putting down heavy-duty, multi-ply, reinforced white vapor barrier. And we're going to seam that all together across the dirt floor of this crawl space. And then along the perimeter, we've used a tape system, a real thick double-sided tape, along with a mechanical fastening system with a nail and a washer assembly, and we have secured that continuously along the perimeter of the crawl space. So you have a totally sealed crawl space system. Then the final step is to go around and ensure that the perimeter is insulated, that you've sealed off that space. We want to discuss the duct system here, and unfortunately, again, like we noted earlier, most ducts leak upwards of 20%, and here you can tell without us even pulling anything back how poorly this has been sealed and insulated. These are pulled away, and you can see the inner collars that haven't been taped or pasted through. You can have, there's leakage right through here, and then up above here, this duct line's been crushed, and this is all pulled away. I don't know whether there's been a cat or some sort of other animals down here, but this is typical, unfortunately, in most of our crawl spaces. And again, a crawl space areas where a lot of things can go wrong in a house, and unfortunately homeowners are left often picking up the pieces after things have started molding up and they've realized significant indoor air quality issues. So again, taking some time to evaluate the crawl space is important.